I was on a project in Lithuania, and somehow things have gotten out of proportion. I was roomed with two other girls, but somehow along the line, I felt having the need to change rooms for practical reasons. I was granted to change rooms for practical purposes, but I didn't have my own bathroom to the new room. So I still had to take a shower in the old room. It's summertime in Lithuania, but this country, or at least the place where we're staying at, was filled with swamps. And so there was a lot of mosquitoes everywhere, especially at night. My roommates and I hadn't been in a very smooth relationship. We've been tiptoeing with each other and walking in eggshells, or at least that's what I felt for the past few days. Yesterday, we had the chance to go to another town, and so we had a free day. Most of us were arriving back to the venue late at night. I arrived to the venue earlier because I chose a different route. I decided to hike along the nearby town to see the surrounding community. It was beautiful. I saw more swamps, more ponds, bigger lakes, a snake, lots of geese and fowls and ducks, birds, fancy cars on the road, blonde, blue eyed, white people tanned by the sun. I walked for maybe 1 to 2 hours, and it was fantastic. So I arrived back to the venue. It was still daylight, and since I and my roommates, or former roommates, weren't really in a very nice, smooth sailing boat, if I could say, I decided, oh, maybe this is an opportunity for me to use the bathroom so I didn't have to, interact with them if I had to use the bathroom later on when they arrive. The room was open, so I used the bathroom. A few hours later, I heard a commotion. Someone went up my room. One of my former roommates, she was frustrated. She cussed at me and she said something along the lines that I wasn't being fair, that I left the light open and the mosquitoes got in. So, mosquitoes swarmed in their room. I felt bad because I realized that I must have left the light open. I felt so guilty about it. I wanted to go down and see what was the commotion about because I've been hearing noises. But I also heard more cussing. What the fuck? The light was left open. The light was left turned on, and it wasn't them, it was me. More people came in, more people got in, more people got into the commotion, more voices, more sounds, more footsteps. It lasted until 1 a.m. or something along those time. The noise died down from sometime around 11:30. People were still chatting until 1 a.m. And with the commotion going on, I didn't feel the courage to join them because it was all pointed towards me. But I tried to analyze things and I realized, how did the mosquitoes get in? Someone has left the door or windows open for the mosquitoes to get in. With or without the light on, the mosquitoes will still get in given the doors or windows were left open. But the person at fault is the one who left the light open still. The organizer sent me a message inviting me for a talk, but I felt scared because everyone was pointing fingers towards the one who left the lights. And so I said I wanted to talk the following morning. We talked today, this morning, in front of the organizer, with my former roommates. I explained about the doors. But still, the person at fault is still the person who left the lights. How come? How is it that I could still use the room even with the lights on without the mosquitoes swarming towards me as long as the doors and windows were closed? How come that the only person responsible in this mosquito shit is the one who left the lights on? How come I only has to take the blame? How come no one took the blame about the doors open or the windows open? How come no one owed up to that? No one took responsibility or accountability about that. Despite explaining this, despite asking questions, despite pointing out who let the mosquitoes in, how did the mosquitoes get in? Why is it just the person who left the lights on's fault? There were two parties involved, yet the person burned at the stake was the one who left the lights on. Then the other one didn't because that person was the accuser. It's so pathetic because it's something very simple that has blown out of proportion because there was an accuser whose interest was conserved, who had supporters, who had people rallying behind her, and the other party wasn't heard. I didn't feel safe anymore realizing that. Why was it just me? Why was it just me at fault? I acknowledge my mistake. I apologize for my mistake. But why wasn't the other person burnt at the stake? Why is it just me? Why was it just me? Why was it just me? Why was it just me who felt the glances, the avoidance? Why was it just me? I didn't slander anyone. I didn't cuss at anyone. I didn't share with anyone. I think I was fair. I was objective. I didn't accuse anyone. I didn't gossip. But why was I punished? Why was I penalized for being true to my principles? For being decent? Why was this? Why was I punished for being decent? For being fair? Why was I punished for being honest? For being genuine to my feelings? When I said I didn't feel comfortable to interact, especially with one of my roommates, the one who cussed about me, why was I punished for not conforming to a resolution? I don't want to conform. I don't want to have a resolution. I'm happy to have the conversation, but I didn't want to interact with her anymore because I was hurt already. I already felt unsafe in that environment. But why was I the one punished for being honest, for being true, and for being genuine? Why am I the only one at fault for communicating? The same person who cussed at me about the light is the same person who left the door slash window open. It's the same person who claimed to be a believer of open communication, but it's also the same person who had assumptions with the way I communicated. She had issues with the way I communicate, which I did on pieces of paper that didn't sit well with her. Yet, it's the same person who didn't reach out to me to point out that she was not comfortable with the way I communicate. It's so ironic that this person claims to be an advocate of open communication, yet she does not reach out to communicate. It's the same person who claimed to be hurt, who claimed that I was accusing her, but it's the same person who also cussed towards the person responsible leaving the lights. Because I overheard everything. I know what I heard. And when I didn't accept her apology, she claimed that it was a shock to her that I wouldn't. But why can't you just she respect my decision not to accept her apology? Because I couldn't. I was hurt. And I don't see any way how I could interact with her the same way I interacted with her on the very first day with cordiality after all of these things. It's the same person who it's the same person who had issues with with the way I communicate with the lights, and the same person who shared to her friends within the group. Tell me, how do I not feel alienated with all of these things? Well, I think I think the world is pathetic, or I am pathetic for this world, or the world is so mediocre, or I am so mediocre for this world, where people are so fucking stupid, or I'm the one who's fucking stupid. Because clearly, I don't understand why we educate people to be proactive, to stand their position, and when they stand their ground, we punish them for standing their ground. I felt punished. I felt burnt at the stake for standing my ground, for being clear with my needs, for being clear with my boundaries. Weren't we taught to set our boundaries, to set our needs? I was taught to communicate my boundaries, and I communicated them clearly. Yet I'm punished for doing so. I feel like I just don't fit in anywhere. The Philippines, Japan, Europe. I think there's fucking something wrong with me. I think I'm probably just bad for this world. It's probably just beyond my comprehension. Why am I burned at the stake? Why am I burned at the stake? Why am I burned at the stake? It's unfair. Yeah, let's talk. You're changing the topic. This. I wasn't. I wasn't. Why was the only one burnt at the stake? Maybe I should just fucking die. I think I should just die. Let's just die.